After my regrettable decision to sell my launch N64, I went on Nintendo hiatus from the end of 1997 through fall of 2002. Early on during those 5 years, I remember one of my friends noticed that I was no longer up on what was going on in the video game world. He made a comment that I was missing out on a lot of good games. He was definitely right. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and Donkey Kong 64, just to name a couple. Regardless, his remark didn't faze me. I did a lot of growing up in those 5 years, and video games were of little appeal to me. The only thing that remained constant was my Super NES and collection of about 12 games that I had for it. It stayed connected to my TV during my absence from Nintendo, and I did play my games from time to time, mostly Tetris and Dr. Mario. I didn't realize it then, but the Super NES appealed to me so much because of the simplicity of the games. I'm not a hardcore gamer, and I've always enjoyed the pick-up-and-play aspect of so many of my games. Case in point, Super Castlevania 4 for Super NES versus Castlevania Symphony of the Night for PlayStation. The objective of the former is to jump and swing your whip to advance through the linear stages. The latter adds RPG elements that introduce a learning curve and require a bit more commitment on the part of the player. I don't care for that. I prefer a minimal learning curve and small time commitment. Those were the qualities my Super NES games afforded me, and they were those that I enjoyed playing. I also remained faithful to the Super NES because of the fond memories I had, and because it was the first of my possessions of which I made a conscious effort to take extremely good care. Throughout the years, I remember feeling nostalgic seeing my brother play on various generations of gaming consoles. From his first encounter with my NES, which he broke, through the Xbox 360, he has played quite a bit. Some of the consoles in his collection were Nintendo, but most were not. He used FuncoLand, now GameStop, as a source to get many of his consoles used. It actually turned out that my mom was upset that I sold my N64. She would have preferred to buy it from me for my brother to use. Oh well. To try to patch things over, I gave him the PlayStation that lay dormant in my room. I think he was about 8 or 9 at the time, and the PlayStation didn't suit his taste in games very well. The N64 would have been a better fit for him as it offered similarly themed games as his green Game Boy Pocket, which I frequently borrowed to play Tetris. He would eventually get an N64 from GameStop, and after that, a Game Boy Advance, a PS2, an Xbox, and finally an Xbox 360. For Christmas 2001, probably somewhere in between PS2 and Xbox, he got GameCube. I smile as it took me back to my Nintendo days as a kid. Little did I know that I too would soon be returning to Nintendo, and probably for good.